I'm James. Well, the president recently signed a budget. I know, I'm surprised too. I've almost forgot it was in his job description. It's been so long since we saw one. And here's what NASA got. This is pitiful. We don't even have a launch vehicle. We have to hitch a ride with the fucking Russians if we ever want to send anyone up there. Meanwhile, projects like the James Webb Space Telescope and the X-33 keep getting their schedules pushed back because members of Congress are too numerically illiterate to understand that costs grow if you push the schedules back because all those PhD salaries, you have to keep paying them in the meantime. Hell, there was even a time last year whenever it looked like, due to budgeting issues, NASA would have to choose between operating the Curiosity rover or Cassini. It seems NASA themselves have given up on manned spaceflight, choosing instead to emphasize probes and telemetry. Now, probes are fantastic, and you would never hear me suggest that we should do anything but send them wherever the hell we can. But we need to start working on getting a more of a manned presence in space. When the Earth formed, for about 540 million years, it was molten more or less all the way through. Now, geologists refer to this period as the Hadean. During this period, heavier elements like gold, cobalt, osmium, palladium, platinum, rhenium, rhodium, ruthenium, and molybdenum sank towards the center. That's why gold, cobalt, osmium, palladium, platinum, rhenium, rhodium, ruthenium are so relatively rare and depleted in the Earth's crust. In fact, except for such platinum group-rich igneous intrusions like the Bushveld Igneous Complex in South Africa and the Stillwater Complex in Montana, most of these metals were acquired in the late heavy bombardment, when the Earth and the newly formed Moon were pummeled by asteroids as the young Earth gradually cleared its orbit. These metals will be vital to the technologies of the future. Many are prized for their semiconducting or superconducting properties, many of them for their resistance to corrosion and tarnish, and most of them make excellent catalysts for various chemical applications. Suffice it to say, these metals are badass and in short supply. Now, if only there were a place with a composition similar to that of our young solar system. Oh God, a place where these heavier elements haven't been depleted by the sieve of gravitational collapse. Oh God, think, James, think. In space, we can utilize these resources in situ. We can build spacecraft, bases, stations. We can mine ice and hydrocarbons for fuel and water and oxygen. All without the added difficulty and cost of bringing this stuff up from the Earth's surface. Needless to say, there's a lot of money to be made in space. Now, this might seem like a very good reason to keep our feet on the ground, but, well, I'll just let JFK answer this.
Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone.
I wonder what the other thing was. I'll have to look that up. We went from Sputnik to Apollo in just 12 years. Difficulty has a wonderful way of spurring the imagination. I mean, people are kind of lazy. If it isn't broke, we don't fix it. We slip into the comfortable fuzzy slippers of old applications and paradigms that have worked for us in the past. It is only when we find those applications and paradigms inadequate that we finally think of changing them. We develop new tools, new ways of thinking. We repurpose, we tweak, we tinker. We stretch our ingenuity to encompass possibilities that we've never considered before. We, as human beings, we're really at our best when we are challenged. As far as challenges go, space is a doozy. It's very inhospitable to human life. Presents all kinds of technological challenges and hurdles that we'll have to overcome if we ever want to leave this beautiful blue marble. We breathe oxygen, and not pure oxygen either, so we have to mix it with other gases. And now, oxygen itself, the word, means acid forming. And not for nothing either. There are all kinds of horribly unpleasant reactions that happen in the presence of oxygen. And we need it to survive. Bummer. We need water, which is heavy, incompressible, corrosive, sloshes around under acceleration, and has the nasty habit of expanding as it freezes. We'll need to take some of that as well. Our minds don't handle the stresses of prolonged spaceflight very well either. There's the loneliness, the close quarters, the existential dread as you stare into a vast inky abyss that is the mind-bogglingly huge and uncaring universe. Oh, and radiation. Lots and lots of radiation. We will need to tackle all of these problems and more if we ever want to establish a manned presence anywhere outside of low Earth orbit. Much as the Apollo program led to the miniaturization of electronics, gave us such modern miracles as cell phones, tablet computers, and CCD cameras, the technologies that we'll create along the way will revolutionize the world. So don't think of the problems of human spaceflight as unsurmountable. Think of them as strength training for our engineering prowess. Every life form we are aware of is on this little ball of rock. Every single person that is, or ever has been, is either on this planet or in low orbit around it right now. Every single thing we know, or have made, or have dreamed up, could be utterly obliterated by an unlucky encounter with an asteroid or an unusually large solar flare. All of our cultural, scientific, and genetic eggs are all in one basket. Earth is currently the only place we know how to survive. This may come as a shock, but it won't be around forever! We might want to figure out how to survive someplace else. Now, while we have the time to experiment. While there's still an Earth to return to should things go wrong. The scientists and engineers of the future need to be inspired. My God, will you look at this shit?! Look at it! Motherfucking look at it! How could you even think of defunding such badassery?! Rockets! Science! Sweet science! Look, he's on the moon! That's the motherfucking moon! That is the moon! The thing up in the sky! He's on it! Space shuttles! Homer transfers! Gravity assists! Look at this badass thing! It's landing on Titan! My God, that's a picture of fucking Titan's surface! It's this fucking lake of fucking methane! Fuck! sky cranes! That's a motherfucking sky crane! Politicians like to talk about the cost of NASA and how taxpayer money should surely be spent closer to home. As an American taxpayer, I have one thing to say to them. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, or subscribe. If you've got any other topics that you'd like my unqualified opinion on, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'm James, and, well, I'll see you next time. There are all sorts of unpleasant exothermic reactions that happen in the presence of water. And in the presence of oxygen. Fuck! Okay.